Hi, this is Joanna and I'm back today with another video, and today I'm using products from Happy Little Stampers. It's a company based in Australia and it's quite new, and I just love the stamp sets that I received. I think they are beautiful. And today I'm going to create a happy birthday card, so I'm starting by creating my card base, and I'm using Nina Solo White 110 pounds, and I'm creating a top folding standard size card. And then I've cut a card front just slightly smaller. And I'm using my Inkadinkado Magic Embossing Powder bag because I'm going to do some embossing. I'm going to do emboss resist and I'm going to create my own background. So I will stamp this small stamp with a Versamark, and then I'm going to use some white embossing powder. And the reason that I'm using my embossing powder in between each stamp is because otherwise it's really hard to see the Versamark. And I know that white on white is quite hard to see on camera too, but in real life you of course can see it. But I will just speed up the video here, and I will keep on stamping my background. And I love to use these small stamps that you receive in almost every stamp set. I often forget to use them, but you can create really cool backgrounds using them. And in this stamp set there is also a lot of dots, and they are outlined and also filled. So I will use two of the smaller ones, one filled and one outlined, and I will just keep on stamping them and covering them with embossing powder. And as you can see here, I'm using my anti-static tool quite often, and that is because I'm holding my card front in my hand, so I'm transferring some oil from my fingers, so the embossing powder will stick to the oil. So that's why I'm using my embossing body quite a bit. And then I just use my heat tool to melt the powder completely. And here you can see the shine a little bit. I will tilt it here in the light so you can see. And now it's time to create the emboss resist, and I'm using two shades of distress ink. This is Spiced Marmalade, and I think the secret to a good blend, or to a smooth blend without any streaks, is to when you add a color to your foam tool, just make sure that you tap off the excess on the edges of the foam tool, and then it's much easier to create a really smooth blended look. And I also add the colors in circular motions and a very light touch, especially when I start to, for the first layer, I use a very, very gentle touch. And when I use distress inks like this, I normally work with layers. So I'm adding one layer first, and then I just keep on adding layers until I'm happy with the color. That really intensifies the colors, I think, and I think it's much richer and it gives a much deeper look. Now the background is ready, so I have this piece of a scrap piece of black cardstock, and I'm going to create my sentiment strip out of it. So I'm using a happy birthday stamp from the same stamp set, and I'm stamping it with Versamark, and then I'm covering it with white embossing powder and heat setting that with my heat tool. And then I'm using my paper trimmer just to trim it down to size. And I will also create some banner edges with my scissors. And I use my corner jumper also to round all of the four corners. And I think this card needs something else. It is going to be a clean and simple card, but I would like to add some gold as well. So I have this mini mister, and I have just mixed it with perfect pearls in gold and some water. So I just shake it up, and then I spritz a couple of sprays on top of there, and I covered up some of the card with paper because I wasn't sure that I wanted any gold on the white parts of the card. But and then I just used a cloth to pick up the gold on top of the white embossing. But I think that the card needs a little bit more gold also on the white, so I'm bringing out my Mini Mister again and I'm making a spritz. So this makes that it's much more gold in the middle, so it creates a really cool look, and just a couple of drops on the white. And I use my heat tool to dry the perfect pearls, and I'm really careful here so I don't melt the embossing powder again. And then I'm using my ATG to adhere this card front on top of the card base. So I'm just trying to line it up straight here. I think it's really important if you have a clean and simple card that you adhere it straight. So I always struggle with this. If you have watched my videos before, you know that this is a crucial moment for me. And then I will use some foam tape on the back side of the sentiment strip and adhere it in the middle of the card. And I have these really beautiful enamel dots also from Happy Little Stampers, and they come in different colors, but I'm going to use the gold today. So I'm using a poker tool just to pick them up, and I'm not pressing them in place just yet. I'm just adding them where I think I want them. And I always fuss around with my enamel dots a lot, so that's why I don't press them down directly, because now I changed the place and now I'm happy with them. And when I'm happy with the placement, I just press them down in place. And this was my card today. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that I inspired you to create your own backgrounds. And don't forget to check out Happy Little Stampers. I will link all the products that I used in the video description down below, and also over at my blog. Thank you guys so much for watching, and take care. Bye!